Hey guys, we are going to have another writing test. The test is going to be on Thursday. I sent a review last week with some notes about conjunctions to kind of give your kiddos a little bit more time to get used to them and practice using those conjunctions. The review I sent today is formatted like the test. And that's the reason why I'm sending this one instead of just using the one that I sent last week, because I want them to know exactly what their test will look like. The test is going to have 10 questions on it. They'll all be multiple choice. We are going to have a paper test, but then I'm also going to allow them to put their answers into a Google form. And the reason I do that is because that Google form can give them instant feedback. It can tell them the grade that they made. It won't have their bonus points figured into that, but that bonus is something that I'll have to add to it when I look at each handwritten paper. So that's just something that helps me out and helps them out to know how well they did. And my hope is that they do very well on these conjunctions. Before I go over the review, there are 3 types of conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions, which are easy to remember because they have an acronym, and the acronym is FANBOYS. It was on the front of the review. I also have an anchor chart in my room that will be up for them to use tomorrow, and they have it in their journal. So if they want to use those notes, I encourage them to use those notes. They will be very helpful on this test. The second type of conjunction that we've talked about is a subordinating conjunction. They see these words all the time and didn't necessarily know it was a conjunction, but there's a list of about 25, 26 words, and we talked about those. They're in our journal, so they will have access to that. The last type of conjunction is the correlative conjunction, and I always have them underline the word relative in correlative because they are conjunctions that have a partner. They have like a relative. So that's just a way to remember it. And there are 6 pairs of correlative conjunctions that we've gone over that could potentially be on their tests. So let's get started with the review. So when you see this question, it says, which correlative conjunction would best complete the sentence? They need to understand and underline correlative. Try that again. There we go, correlative. And this means that there's a pair, and you can see there's a blank here and a blank here. So I know I'm looking for a pair that would best complete. Now, when I see best complete the sentence, it just means fill in the blank. So the best way for me to answer this is to take these answer choices and stick them in the blank and actually read them out loud. I don't mind that they read out loud when we're testing. I just want to caution them to make sure that it's real quiet and so it doesn't sound like they're talking to anybody else. But that is the best way to answer a type of question like this. So it says, blank Samuel, blank Mary are in choir this year. So answer choice A has rather and or. That is a correlative conjunction, so it's possible that this is the right answer. Rather Samuel or Mary. Now, before I even get into the rest of the sentence, rather or indicates that there's going to be a choice. Well, this sentence is not about making a choice. It's saying they are in choir this year. So it's not going to be A because that just doesn't make sense. So I can move on to answer choice B. Both and. Both Samuel and Mary are in choir this year. That sounds pretty good, so I'm going to put a maybe dot out to the side. Neither or. Now, here's the thing. If in correlative conjunctions, neither is paired with the word nor, and sorry that this mouse has terrible responsivity, so writing the word nor, there we go. So since neither is paired with or in this case, it is not going to be a possible answer choice because that is not a correlative conjunction pair that we have used. So the last one is but or. But Samuel or Mary are in choir this year. That sounds silly. That is not going to be the right answer. So B is the best answer. So I'm going to write a letter B there. Okay. Rolling on to number 2. Now, number 2 looks different from number 1. It's not a fill in the blank. And when I read the question, it says, which of the following sentences correctly uses a subordinating conjunction, which means the conjunction can fall anywhere in the sentence. It's just putting two clauses together. It could be a dependent and an independent, or two independent. You're just building a new sentence. So when I see a question with subordinating, typically they're going to have 4 answer choices that are very similar, and I just need to pay attention to what's different. So I can use that strategy of looking down and going, okay, all these are the same, this is the same, this is the same, and then when I get to something different, I want to note that, because this difference is what's going to help me decide which is the best answer choice. And I want to keep checking and make sure all these words are the same. A good strategy that we use with quotation marks is to take a note card and cover up all of the answer choice and then just reveal one word at a time so that they can clearly see, like, okay, all of these are matching. So the sentence is, I got in big trouble if my parents discovered the broken window. Well, here's the thing. When you say I got in big trouble, it's not an if. It's like a you did it. So A is not going to be a good answer choice because the authors already claimed that they got in trouble. So there's not an if to it. Answer choice B, I got in big trouble although my parents discovered the broken window. Although means kind of like, okay, even this, because this happened, this is the outcome. Well, you got in big trouble and your parents did discover the broken window. So that doesn't make very good sense. Answer choice C, I got in big trouble when my parents discovered the broken window. This sounds pretty good. I'm going to put that maybe dot down there. And then answer choice D, I got in big trouble wherever my parents discovered the broken window. This does not sound good either, so D is out of it. So the only one that really sounded good was answer choice C. All right. Number 3. 3 is a little different because it doesn't tell you what conjunction is being used. You just have to look at it and notice it. And we practice with using conjunctions that just join 2 words or 2 phrases or 2 clauses. And so I'm hoping that my kiddos are recognizing this is 2 words here. And when you join 2 words, you do not need to add a comma. So if you notice that, you can see right away that this has a comma, this one has a comma, and this one has a comma. So those are probably not going to be the answer choice, but then you can go even a step further and read it and think about what it's saying. Do you want vanilla or chocolate? Well, if I look at where the commas are, I will never have a comma after the word or, so C is out. If you noticed the D answer choice, in the D in the word do in the answer choice D, and that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but you get it. It's lowercase and it should be capital, so that takes away this answer choice, which means the only 2 is, should it have a comma, should it not? And when you have a list, you have to have 3 or more things if you're going to separate it with commas. So answer choice A is not correct, B is the correct answer choice. So when you think about conjunctions, you also have to think about when is it appropriate to use a comma. So it's not just about the conjunction, sometimes it's about the comma. And you use a comma when you have 2 clauses that you're joining together and you need that breath mark. Moving on to number 4. Another way that they're going to have to recognize conjunctions is when they combine 2 sentences. So here are 2 sentences, and there are lots of ways to combine them, but they have to look at the choices here and kind of compare them and go, okay, which one of these is the best? So when I'm looking at it, again, when I have 4 answer choices that have a full sentence, I want to compare straight up and down. Okay, what's the same? What's different? Well, right off the bat, A is totally different than B, C, or D. So I'm going to go ahead and read that one and see if I notice anything wrong. We, comma, looks really weird, but I'm going to keep reading it. We went to Dairy Queen after the movie was over. So I know that you shouldn't have a comma after the word we, so I'm going to get rid of that. Answer choice B, after the movie was over, comma, we went to Dairy Queen. All right, and then C, after the movie was over, we went to Dairy Queen. No comma there. D, after the movie was over, we went to eat, comma, and we went to Dairy Queen to eat. Well,